A very good afternoon, Dr. Juneda Zino. Today, our group is going to present about the movie-based case studies on the film The Founder. And the members who are going to present today are Tan Yen Hui, Liu Mei Ling, Nevin Kumar A.L. Morgan, Lau Jiheng, and Tong Yuten, which is me. For the part A, which is signing the franchise contract, the questions ask about who made the offers to the McDonald's brothers, Mac and Dick, for turning their businesses into a franchise. And the person who is responsible is Ray Kroc, who is credited with global expansions of McDonald's, turning it into the most successful fast food corporations in the world today. For the second question, initially, Mac and Dicks were not keen on entering a franchise contract with Ray Kroc because they have previously encountered absentee franchises who were lackadaisical in upholding the system. However, Ray was very persistent and eventually managed to convince them, and the brothers agreed to do on certain term. And what is that term? And based on in the movie of the founder on the minute of 37, the film shows where Ray Kroc and McDonald brothers are signed to a contract that consists of that term. Let's see the term. And the term stated that Ray Kroc shall receive 1.9% of the net profits generated by the franchises, with 0.5% from the said profit are paid to Richard McDonald and Maurice McDonald. They also stated that any modification to the Speedy system or any parts of the business must be formally submitted in the writing form for approval by the McDonald's brothers. And that's all for my part. And for the next question, I will pass to Tan Yen Hui, who will going to present about it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tan Yuan Hui, matrix number BB191108002, and I will be presenting the question for B, which is explain any two terms that had not been complied by the franchisee. I will be presenting the first term, which is Ray was surprised when he visited the outlets during the initial stage of the McDonald's franchise business. He discovered that the franchisee did not follow the standard operating procedures (SOP) that he established. As shown in the movie from 49 minutes 55 seconds to 50 minutes 20 seconds, Ray found that the store floor was littered with rubbish and the hamburgers offered to customers were of poor quality. The first term had not been complied by the franchisee is not keeping the stores tidy. So the corridor outside the store is full of garbage, unhygienic. According to the Contract Law Section 5, whereby the acceptor breaches the contract by changing the standard of burger that has been set by the offerer. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Liu Mei Ling. My matrix number is BB191108006. Then I will continue to present the second term. The second term have not been complied by the franchisee is not paying attention to the quality of hamburgers, not McDonald's hamburgers, and there is a gap in the amount of lettuce inside. Also, the 3 pieces of pickles were found in the hamburgers when it some have been only 2 pickles as mentioned in the terms of contract before. Contract Law Section 5. The acceptor breached the contract by changing the standard of burger that has been set by the offerer.
Hello guys, my name is Lau Jiheng and my matric number is BB191100760. I am here to present Task 2 Part C, the McDonald Corporation. How did Ray manage to end the contract with the brother? When a deal was finally struck, Ray refused to include the royalties in the contract, instead deciding to include them in the handshake agreement. A transaction verbal agreement is a contract signed with a handshake. For the contract to be legally binding, it must be witnessed, alternatively sent the other party a follow-up email or other form of communication, save any correspondence or other document that could be used as evidence in court or for other legal purpose, or start in implementing the agreement. We normally sign agreement with all party on paper with particular witness present as proof of the agreement. That's all from my part. Thank you. Firstly, we must know what handshake agreement is. As we know, a handshake agreement is a promise to do something only based on a good faith that cannot be legally enforced. Two partners may sign a handshake agreement promising to put in a long hour on a joint project. In some situations, this type of agreement can greatly enhance behavior. The term of the handshake agreement is firstly, we can know all parties involved in the handshake agreement must be treated equally. For examples, in the case the buyer Ray and the seller that is his brother must understand the requirement of all parties and treat them equally. Secondly, to be regarded legally binding, each party must understand fully what they are agreeing to and what is need of them in order to complete the transaction. For example, in this transaction, we can see that the brother agreed to accept a one-time payment of US dollar 2.7 million to transfer the restaurant that started in San Bernardino and Lay want to take 1% of the annual revenue as royalties. Thirdly, the agreement may not be enforced if one party is disadvantaged by age, that is under duress, or does not understand what they are agreeing to. Unfair contracts are recovered under consumer protection law. One conclusion that can be made in my topic is a handshake agreement can be legally binding. This is the case when a commercial agreement application are made. Is however is generally preferred to avoid relying on a verbal agreement. We usually advocate having this agreement translate into writing contract. Especially if the risks are high or if a significant amount of time or money is involved in the case. For the handshake agreement to be legally binding, three conditions must be met. Firstly, someone must provide an exchange proposal. Secondly, there must be a form of acceptance, that is, the other party accept the offer. Thirdly, a binding handshake agreement must have consideration element that include the price or value. Next, I will pass to my group member to present the second question in task C. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Navin Kumar Mogan and I am from Nibong Tebal, Penang. My faculty is FPEP faculty and I am from HP08 course, which is Tourism Management course. Today in task 2, I am going to answering for the question C number 2. Okay, firstly, according to the movie scene, a handshake contract is a transnational verbal engagement. For the contract to become binding, a witness must be take place or also have to follow up email or some form of communication with the other party that might be used as evidence in court. The two brothers had proposed an annual royalty of 1% based on the film. Ray Kroc agrees with it and there are no deals to be signed when they meet. Instead, he just gives them only a handshake deal to secure his party. This indicates there are no clear agreement has been reached because the deal was not binding. These deals are simple to make and simple to cancel because there are no physical records. In addition, the witnesses on the deal must be trusted and liable. The two brothers never get any of royalties later in the movie. You can see the scene in the movie. Um, so we must know that in an agreement there must be three important things, which is number one, offer. An offer must be made by one person. Number two is acceptance. Acceptance is the terms of offer must be accepted by other party. And number three is meeting of the minds. Both parties must have an understanding that agreement has been formed and freely consent to the terms of agreement. So nowadays, many people are not aware that verbal agreements are, in many cases, are not legally binding as written contract. Verbal contract can be not upheld by a court if someone decide to breach the agreement. Without written terms and condition, it may be difficult to prove in court. Under Malaysian law, an oral contract is nevertheless a valid contract according to the Contracts Act 1950 Section 2G. An agreement is not enforceable by law. It's said to be void, which means every agreement has to be under contract, where the contract will be a proof to the agreement that has been made there. So in this whole question, as a conclusion, a handshake deed is not accept as to binding an agreement. That's all. Thank you. That is all from me.